And our lead this hour is from night 2 of the play-in tournament. Now, why are we talking about this? Because it's on the schedule. That's why. And we have a talk show to do right now. Not an hour from now, not 2 hours, right now. Well, actually, we'll be doing it 2 hours from now also. But double barrel action. Now, I'm not going to tell you this was compelling. I'm not going to tell you this was must-see TV. It wasn't. But we watched. So you had the Heat, that's a basketball team from South Florida, visiting the Bulls. That is a team that plays in Chicago. That was the Eastern matchup. And then the Mavericks, what a hot mess that team was, taking on the Kings in the Western matchup. So I don't know if you watched any of this. You might have missed all of it and consider yourself lucky. Perhaps you missed everything. But we took the hit. It's our good mitzvah of the day. And we're going to start out in the Windy City as we navigate through the highways and byways of the play-in tournament. So Tyler Herro went bonkers. 38 points. 38 points. And he was here, there, and everywhere, especially at the start of the game. The Miami Heat boat race. They did the old Harvard boat race over the, I don't know if we should call them the Bulls. How about the Baby Bulls? My God. 109-90 in a game that was not that close on a Wednesday night in the play-in tournament. The game featured 0 lead changes. There were no lead changes. Miami led by as many as 25 points. They never trailed. That's the Harvard boat race. You jump out in front, and you never trail. And the Heat knock out the Bulls. If you feel like you've seen this before in the play-in tournament, 3rd year in a row. It's a deja vu situation. And they will play at Atlanta on Friday night. And I am not on the watchtower Friday night. So you let me know how that game goes. I ain't watching. You can watch. I'm not. But the winner of that game will have a chance to meet the top-seeded Cleveland basketball team to seemingly be annihilated, although who knows, Cleveland, are they real? Are they phony? Only time will tell. But that's the first-round matchup. So either Atlanta or Miami will be going to Cleveland in that one. The better story, though, is in the losing locker room. So let us discuss. We'll start with that. We'll work our way through. The question, though, how bleak are things looking for Billy Donovan and his Chicago Bulls? That's the coach, Billy Donovan. So I've got my thoughts on this. I have Paul Simon, Twilight, and marshmallows. And we'll ring the bell. We'll put all these things together, and we're going to make deep dish Chicago pizza, which is one of the great treats you can have. It's one of the reasons to stay alive, just to eat more deep dish Chicago pizza. So, the Bulls franchise is currently locked in a never-ending asteroid field. Okay, they can't get out of their own shadow. The Eastern Conference is as if Hillary Clinton was commenting, she'd say, a basket of deplorables, and the Bulls are like the star of the deplorables, right? The Bulls aren't even good enough to punch their ticket to go to the basketball version of the prom, which is the playoffs. It's emasculating, right? And it's time to redo the old Paul Simon song and update Mrs. Robinson. Where have you gone, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? A Bulls nation turns its lonely eyes to you. These are not your daddy's Chicago Bulls. These are more like your granddaddy's Chicago Bulls, because other than the Jordan years, the Bulls blew. And, man, they are a bunch of castaways, the Chicago Bulls here, stuck on a dinghy with a broken-down motor at this particular point. They're just a bunch of dinghies. And they're not bad enough. Like, you don't want to be in the middle, and they're in the middle, right? You're not bad enough to really have a legitimate chance of getting the number one overall. Number one. And they're not good enough to really do anything. They can't even make the playoffs. And so here's where the Bulls find themselves. Good luck. Now, we turn the page to the winning locker room. We're going to do a little true or false. You want to play true or false? Let's play true or false. So the statement is Tyler Herro's big night, 38 points. This was a stepping stone game in his Miami Heat career. Is that true or false? So after a minutes-long Maller review, we're voting false. Okay, that is a false statement. Now, keep in mind, Tyler Herro, if you saw the game, you probably didn't. I think I was the only one watching. Tyler Herro was electric. I think he hit something like his first 8 shots. I didn't write it down, but he finished up 13 of 19 from the floor and was the player that Pat Riley thought he was going to become when they got rid of Jimmy Butler. But it was only slight progress. I'm only going to move it a little bit. It does not count as a stepping stone. That's too dramatic, and here's why. It is impossible in the court of Malheur. It is impossible to have such a thing as a springboard game in a play-in game. The play-in? We ain't here talking about the play-in? Not a real playoff game. No, the play-in. Play-in? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It is an empty wasteland. They are played in the twilight. Ergo, the Twilight Zone. Imagine, if you will, a world where the stats vanish into thin air. They're neither regular season stats nor postseason stats. It is an alternative reality that only lasts a couple of games in between the regular season and the playoffs. Now, we know from years gone by that legends are born. Legends are born in the playoffs. In the playoffs, right? NBA playoffs. Not whatever this whatchamacallit is. Right? Not the whatchamacallit. Now, Tyler Herro does have a chance. He does have a shot if, play the if game. Ifs and buts were candy and nuts, right? But if Miami can do this again and beat Atlanta and take down the Hawks on Friday, and normally Heat will burn a Hawk. So if that happens, and then he gets on the big stage, and if there's an 8 seed, 1 seed, which is really not an 8 seed because the Heat are lower than that. They were down there at the very bottom. So if the Heat can then go into Cleveland and not only make some noise but actually win, we can revisit this conversation. But I know the hot take artists and how this works. I have studied the ancient art of the hot take, and there's this overreaction. Oh, my God, I can't believe it's so amazing. It's so, oh, man. All right, now, the last word. Let's go over to the Western Conference side of the play-in, whatever this thing is. And Klay Thompson caught the bug. For one quarter, it was vintage Klay Thompson in Sacktown as Klay had 16 of his 23 points in the second quarter. And if you saw the game, that's all you needed to watch. That was it. That was na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye. Say bye-bye to Sacramento. Bye-bye. Yes. He had an absolute dud a year ago, which was brought up many times on the television broadcast, but this time wearing the Mavericks uniform in a surprise. I did not see this one coming. Thought Dallas would be meekly eliminated from the playoffs, but that's why they play their games. So Klay Thompson went big, and the Dallas basketball team proving Nico Harrison a genius with an easy win. So they advanced in the play-in tournament, and now they will take on Memphis for a chance to get into the playoffs and take on Oklahoma City. So that's the next matchup. But a year ago, Klay Thompson, in what was his final game with Golden State, had the worst possible final game. You remember, he took 10 shots. You remember how many he made? How about none? 0 for 10 in that loss a year ago for Klay Thompson, his last moment as a Golden State Warrior. But in this game, he had 4 3-pointers. Dallas put up 44 points. Do you understand how incompetent the Kings have to be to allow a team in a 12-minute quarter to score 44 points? How I don't give an F the mantra must be for that team. Now, the better story here is in the losing locker room, and we don't spend a lot of time talking about the team in Sacramento. Why would we? It's broadcasting, not narrowcasting, but this is rare and appropriate, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to do it. So what does the future hold for Domantas Sabonis and the Kings? What does the future hold here in Sacktown? So my advice to the Kings and to Domantas Sabonis is to go out and go to Walmart, get some marshmallows. Get some marshmallows, if I could talk that way up. Get some marshmallows, right? Get the marshmallows, because the Kings are going to have a bonfire. There's already talk they're going to bring in a new GM and a new broom sweeps clean. And so they got rid of Mike Brown during the season. They whacked him. They traded away De'Aaron Fox, who was the face of the franchise until they traded him. So expect the urge to purge the urge to purge. I'm talking an everything must go liquidation situation here. You want Domantas Sabonis? How about DeMar DeRozan? Do I hear anything for DeMar DeRozan? Can I get an offer for Zach LaVine? Anyone want Zach LaVine? Make sure to use that coupon code, and you'll save. It's a red tag sale, in-store and online. Now, the Kings have this kind of dopey mascot. I think they should change their mascot. I believe here, as this franchise continues to be in limbo, the Kings, where have you gone, Peja Stojakovic, right? The King's spirit animal is a chicken, Mike the Headless Chicken, because they are stuck in this cycle of, they use the word rebuilding, which is it's a sports term. It's a politically correct sports term, rebuilding. Its synonyms are suck and blow, because that's what the Kings are. They suck and they blow every year, right? Every year, the same thing. They're bottom feeders, and it just keeps going on. And they'll get rid of these guys, and then they'll be terrible for several more years, and then they'll stumble onto a few players that actually turn out to be halfway decent, and then the same thing will happen. It is a never-ending cycle. But they pay pretty well, so they can hire people. They pay decent money and all that.